It is Wednesday, April 15th, 2020, and you are tuned into DIRTRACKR Daily. I'm Justin Fiedler. I want to start off today's show just with a couple of thoughts, just generally about kind of dirt racing and the state of things. I started this website and I started this show because I think there is room to talk about dirt racing across car types and across the country and bring maybe bring people together a little bit, maybe point you in a direction maybe you haven't thought about going before. I feel like we have a lot of fans and a lot of fan bases who look down upon other forms of racing, whether that be a different division in dirt racing or a different type of racing altogether, something paved or something else. And I've said this on the show before, but I am a fan of motorsports, across genres, across the country, across the world. I'm interested in Formula One. I'm interested in drag racing, and I work in NASCAR and in dirt racing, and I like World Rally, and I like a lot of different things. And I don't understand the knock against other fan bases. I don't understand the knock against other types of racing, and why some people find it necessary to put other forms of racing down like they're less than. I don't like that, and I don't understand it. At the end of the day, if you are a race fan, of literally anything, name the series or surface type or whatever it is, everybody wants to see the same thing. We all want to see a good race. We all want to see a couple of guys battling it out to the end. You want to see an exciting finish. You want to see, depending on car types, you want to see beating and banging. You want to see good competition. And that's what everybody shows up for, to watch races. That's why people tune into racing on television. That's why people buy Dirt Vision and Dirt on Dirt and Flow Racing, subscriptions and all of these things. It's because they want to see good racing. We all have that in common. And it doesn't matter whether you're a sprint car fan, a late model fan, a modified fan, you like street stocks, you like whatever it is. Everybody wants to see the same thing. I think we need to kind of look at it more that way versus when you go to your track on a Saturday night, you don't like that one division because they take too long and they crash a lot and whatever. Understand I have no problem if you don't like a specific division. Everybody is open to their own opinions. That's fine. What I don't like is the public bashing and the looking down upon things as if your fandom and or the series you compete in is better than the other series, because it's not. They're all, on some level, they're all equal. And I would like to see us kind of move away from that. And as we're all locked up in our houses, we're all missing out on those races. We're all missing out on that opportunity to get to the racetrack. And I would like to see us appreciate more what we have once we get back going again. And I don't want to hear about push and flips, and I don't want to hear about shit boxes, and I don't want to hear about all of these other things and all of these other terms that people refer to other series as. It's ridiculous. It's demeaning. It's pointless. And I feel like all you do is make yourself look ignorant and make yourself look ridiculous when you talk about things like that. So I'm going to talk about all kinds of forms of racing on the show. I'm going to talk about modifieds. I'm going to talk about sprint cars. I'm going to talk about late models. I'm going to talk about, if there's something big going on and it's newsworthy and, people, I think people will be interested in it. That's what I'm going to talk about. And the iRacing stuff right now is a perfect example of that. I know everybody's not into the iRacing stuff. No problem. That's cool. I get it. And I'm sure some people have tuned out of this show because I've been talking about the iRacing stuff so much. But right now, that's what we have. So that's what I'm going to talk about. And I would hope that people would, take a step back and understand, how great a lot of these things are and understand how similar, maybe you're a sprint car fan, maybe you're sitting next to a late model fan at a race, and understand how similar the two of you are. Obviously, there's going to be culture differences among racing series. There's going to be, ideological differences, and all of that stuff is fine. But at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, and I want people to understand that you're not different as much as you want to think maybe you are. You're not different. You're all the same. You all want to see the same thing. So, just some stuff that's happened recently and some conversations I've had. I kind of wanted to get that out there and to get people thinking about that and hopefully things will be more positive going forward, but we'll see. But just wanted to get those thoughts out there, and hopefully, and I know a lot of you aren't like that. I know a lot of people don't feel that way, don't talk that way. But there's a lot to do, and it's frustrating, and it's one of those things that I wish didn't happen, and I hope happens less. But anyway, moving on to some news items for the day. Right before recording today, I saw the announcement from Fox Sports about tonight's iRacing show on Fox Sports 1. No World of Outlaws races this week, but there is a show tonight. They have moved it from 8 p.m. Eastern up to 7 p.m. Eastern. Still going to feature 2 races. Driver list tonight includes Kyle Busch, Will Power, Australian V8 supercar driver Scott McLaughlin, Bobby Labonte, and several other big names. They're going to run 2 races. Race 1 will be UMP Modifieds at Volusia Speedway Park, and then race 2 will be GTE road racing cars at Lime Rock Park. Jeff Gordon, Clint Boyer, and Adam Alexander will again call all of the action. I wanted to point that out because I know some people were expecting to see World of Outlaws again on Fox Sports 1 tonight. That is not happening, and that was never really the deal. Fox Sports 1 is probably going to do, kind of a rotation of events until we kind of get back racing again. So keep that in mind on a week-to-week basis. It's not to say the World of Outlaws won't be back on Fox Sports 1, but this is not a specific World of Outlaws show happening every week. But because there is UMP Modifieds at Volusia Speedway Park, I wanted to point it out because there is still dirt racing going on. The World of Outlaws Sprint Car iRacing Invitational was at Lernerville last night. 55 cars took time in qualifying. Robbie Kendall grabbing quick time over Logan Seavey and Kevin Swindell. Last night's field super solid again. Included William Byron. He jumped into his first World of Outlaws race last night. Ended up making the feature. Juan Pablo Montoya, Justin Allgaier, Chris Wyndham, and then kind of a lot of the same names you've seen in a lot of the Invitationals up to this point. The heat races were won by Robbie Kendall, Logan Seavey, Kevin Swindell, Justin Cox, Austin McCarl, and Brent Marks. Max McLaughlin won the D, Michael Bauer won the C, and then Mike McKinney took the B. Neat to see some of these other guys that are kind of from other forms, other disciplines have been jumping into some of these other things, like Mike McKinney last night running sprint car race. In the feature, it was Kendall on the pole with Seavey outside. Kendall jumped out to the early lead, but was quickly under pressure from Logan Seavey and Kevin Swindell. With literally 2 laps complete off into turn 1, the leaders were 3 wide. Contact basically sent Robbie Kendall spinning, and then Austin McCarl kind of nowhere to go, ended up making contact with Kendall, which knocked him off the track and basically out of contention. Logan Seavey would end up leading lap 3, but then it was all Kevin Swindell from there. He took over at lap 4 and really never officially relinquished the lead. Seavey would end up making a rare mistake for him, and as good as he has been in some of these iRacing events. He drifted off the top of the track trying to run Swindell down. He would recover to finish 8th. The next challenger that Swindell had to fight off was Tony Gualda. Gualda started 7th, was battling Swindell for the lead with about 18 to go. Then on a restart with 10 to go, Gualda briefly took the lead with a slider, but Swindell was able to kind of make that crossover move and get back to the front. Gualda did the same thing the next lap, but Swindell was again able to regain the lead. As they came by with 8 to go, Gualda was trying to make a move kind of on the bottom and get underneath Swindell into turn 1, but kind of misjudged his closing rate on Swindell and actually tagged the back of Swindell's car. That spun him into the outside fence just off into turn 1 there, which basically ended his night. He ended up finishing back in 21st. That basically let Swindell drive off to his 2nd consecutive win and the $1,000 payday. Chase Briscoe ended up 2nd with Justin Cox 3rd, Trent Ivey 4th, and Brent Mahalski in 5th. Troy Wagaman Jr. was hard charger, going from a B-main transfer all the way up to 9th. If you'd like to check out highlights from that, you can find highlights of the feature on the World of Outlaws YouTube channel. They've also been posting those replays of those in the Dirt Vision Vault if you'd like to go back and watch any of those shows. I believe all of the iRacing shows that have been on Dirt Vision up to this point are in the Dirt Vision Vault. And I wanted to mention, too, I got asked yesterday about the Dirt Vision Vault and some of the races that are in there. With all of the changes kind of coming to Dirt Vision, with the addition, hopefully soon, of the Dirt Vision app and some things, the kind of Dirt Vision platform has had to change a little bit. And in doing so, all of those Vault broadcasts have had to be added back. So some stuff is missing. Those guys are working hard to put that stuff back in there. But if you see something missing or see something that was in there in the past that's not in there now, it's coming back. But with as many races as there are in that vault, it's going to take some time to kind of work through that. So keep that in mind as you are looking for things to watch on Dirt Vision. If you just can't get enough iRacing, there are quite a few other series and events popping up here in the last week or two, kind of around the country. Knoxville has their own iRacing events going on now, which include a lot of the Knoxville regulars. So does Power Eye, and we've seen events put on by Dirt Track Digest, the Empire Super Sprints, and more. Some are paying money, others are just kind of for fun. But a lot of other organizations are kind of jumping into this to keep folks entertained through the shutdown. So kind of pay attention to your social media channels if you are interested in some of those things. It's kind of to the point where I'll talk about the bigger events, but there's so much happening now that there's just not a way to kind of keep up with it all on a daily basis. But if there's something you see out there that you would like me to talk about, certainly let me know, and we can do that. I want to throw out some new podcast episode recommendations. Wing Nation this week has Terry McCarl and Brian Holbert. Rip the Fence has Andrew Laser. Top Shelf Racing Podcast is rolling with new episodes again. This week they have Matthew Johnson and Troy Schurz. That's kind of an iRacing themed show. Dirt Nerds has Jay Kaiser. Dirt on Dirt has been doing a lot of roundtable video casts, kind of different topics each time, kind of a rotating cast of characters. They've been kind of, I don't know if they're coming out every couple of days or once a week, but those have been fairly entertaining so far. So if you're looking for something to watch, you can check those out at dirtondirt.com. And then Flow Racing has expanded some of their content to kind of outside of racing stuff, outside of racing and some of the iRacing stuff that they've been doing. They now have a new show called Anderson 410, where Blake Anderson is interviewing drivers. They've done a few of those now, with more to come. And then last night or yesterday, they came out with Points Racing that has Anderson and Derek Kessinger there. Looks like they're going to be kind of focused around the Tony Stewart Sprint Car game and doing some interviews. Last night they had a NASCAR driver and past late model driver Tyler Reddick on the show. So you can check that stuff out over at Flow Racing. Also want to point out some new reading material over at worldofoutlaws.com. Ben Shelton, he was actually the World of Outlaws Late Model Series announcer when I started working at World Racing Group way back in 2013. He's writing a new column about his kind of life on the road back then with the Outlaws. He's done a couple of pieces so far, so if you're interested in those, you can check those out at worldofoutlaws.com. That's the show for today. Hope everybody has a good Wednesday. You can find Dirt Tracker Daily on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or where you get podcasts. Please subscribe, leave me a review, tell your friends. You can also watch the show daily on YouTube and Facebook. You can email the show at info@dirttracker.com. You can follow along also at facebook.com/dirttracker, twitter.com/dirttracker, and the website dirttracker.com. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Justin_Fiedler, and you can sign up for the Dirt Tracker weekly newsletter on the site. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow on Dirt Tracker Daily.